So yes, there's been 2 new shortcuts discovered on DK Summit 150cc, and it all originated from James's world record, where he actually used a different world record combo compared to what the old one used. We use a lot less speed, you get a little bit more mini turbo in return, and that might be a little bit important later. However, the 2 shortcuts might not require this combo to get it done. Now, this is not James's first world record. He actually got one on day 1 on Wing Rainbow Road, as you can tell by that screen. So, first thing I want to mention, he does not use a start shroom at the beginning, which the former world record did. And he gets the coin strat down and everything, so you might be wondering, what in the world is he using this first shroom at? Well, he's going to be using it at a completely new spot, and that is right here to skip the second part of the mountain to do the double. So let's rewind and break down exactly how he's doing this. So, in slow motion, he's releasing and then insta-shrooming, getting a ton of air, and barely getting by. Now, I'm going to break down exactly how to do this shortcut later and a little bit more of a consistent method. But yeah, let's just marvel at the rest of this world record. Incredible double boost, by the way, to get great speed going into the next lap. Now, as we all know, this is the original shroom spot and what they use in the old world record. But James does not do that here. He does something completely different. He Kusan slides and drifts over the snow patch. Yes, that's right. He's drifting over the snow patch. So how is he doing this exactly? Well, let's pause right here. And you see this little triangle right here? He's going for the right side of that divot. And he's going to aim for that, so that way he can get the air necessary. And that's not off-road. So he can afford to do that. And, of course, he's doing the same shortcut once again. And that shortcut is going to be incredibly important for this run, because if he gets that perfectly, he gets the world record. Now, of course, you guys already know he's gotten the world record, but this is actually not the current world record, and maybe if he got that shortcut or the other shortcuts much better, he could have held on to the world record for much longer. And James has told me himself that he could get a 154 on this track, so I'm wondering if these sort of strats will come to fruition with either this combo or the original world record combo, but just with a few modifications to the strats. So, like I said, we're going to be going over both the shortcuts and seeing whether or not we should be going for them online. Nice 245 by James. So, here we're going to explore exactly how we're doing this. So, in the world record, James Kusan slides and drifts into it. And now I found that very, very difficult. So, instead what I'm going to be doing here is, instead of tricking off the first 2, I trick off the first and the third one, and then I aim left and just hop right into it. So I don't have to Kusan slide and get the perfect angle from that. You just kind of adjust your angle depending on what you see. So now we're going to go back and show this in full once again, where trick off the first and the third ramps, aim to the left, and drift off. So whenever a new shortcut like this is discovered, there's a couple of things we have to go over. So there's 2 questions that we have to answer as to whether or not we should go for this online. And these questions aren't going to have a clear yes or no. So the question is it consistent, and is it viable online? So the way we measure consistency is going to be on a scale of extremely difficult to extremely easy. So how consistent is it going to be? And for viability, is it way too risky to go for, or should you go for it every single time online? So the type of shortcut you'd want to go for online is one that's preferably consistent and viable, so more on the green side for both of those. However, this is not going to be that simple for this shortcut in particular, because when you fail this shortcut, it's not too big of a deal. However, there are times when you can get the shortcut like this, where you just completely dud into the snow. That would not be good. Now, I lied. There's actually one more question that we have to answer, and that is the most important. Is it faster? And with this one, it's actually very close, so this is worth looking at as well. So let's look at the side-by-side. The one on the right is going around, and we're going to see that we reach the boost panel on the left about 400ths to 600ths faster than the one on the right. It's going to vary depending on how you get it. So now that we know it saves very little time, we have to go back to these questions and say to ourselves, okay, we need it to be both on the green for this shortcut. And I found it to not be super consistent when testing this. It just felt way too precise. And even though it's super viable, we're going to have to bring it to be essentially really consistent at some point. Now, of course, it's going to be much easier because of how viable it is, because going for it is not that big of a deal. If we can make it somehow save a 10th, then it'll definitely be worth it, even without that consistency. So the verdict is, well, maybe it's worth it. We will see how it develops in the future. And now for the second shortcut. What James does in this is he goes extremely fast into it, just completely YOLOs. And I don't think that's going to be very consistent at all. So I developed a similar but a lot safer method, which is I brake here a lot earlier and essentially slow down to make sure I get this air that the right wheel gets so I can clear the chasm very easily. So let's just watch that back one more time. So yeah, this method seems to be fairly consistent in my testing. I got it about 80% of the time once I figured out the right method. But I found this to not be super viable because the ways you fail it can basically end your race if you're not careful. So this first way you can fail is not super bad. Sometimes you'll just clip the mountain anyways, and you can use smart steering to kind of save yourself from falling off the track. But this second version that you can get, now of course I mess up here super bad, so it's not super common, but you could fall into the chasm fairly easily. Now that completely ends your race right there. But again, we're going to have to figure out how much faster this shortcut is. So in the middle, we're going to have our single shroom strat that we've just discovered. And on the right, we're going to have the smart steering double. And on the left is a normal double. So I've synced these up to be as close as possible. And we're going to compare the times here. And on the right, you see it's 1.3 seconds faster. The single shroom strat is 0.9. So the verdict, yes, it's definitely worth it, especially if you only pull one shroom. Now, as I mentioned at the start of this video, James's world record did not end up standing. Now, the one on the right is the current world record, and the one on the left is James's former world record. And I can see Rosalina on the right uses a start shroom, so all the strats are going to be the same as what the Link world record was that we saw at the beginning. But I just wanted to show a comparison between these, just to show you guys how close it is. And I think if they implement the strats from the Yoshi Streetle world record that James set, I think it's pretty likely that we're going to see this world record be brought down a whole lot more with the shortcuts that James uses. Now, before you guys go, make sure that you like and subscribe, because this is these kinds of videos are very difficult to make, and I would very much appreciate it if you guys lended your support, and it would just let me know that it's appreciated and things like that. But yeah, these shortcuts end up kind of breaking even in a sense, and I think the biggest difference is James's half pipe here on lap 2 ends up kind of losing him quite a bit of time. But you can see they kind of approach the half pipe at the same time, but Rosalina gets the half pipe at the end so much better, the last turn at least. And that cost James a whole lot of time. And James has told me actually that he's failed a bunch of 154 paces. So maybe he returns to this track and tries to get a 154 or the first 154 on this track and reclaim the world record. Don't know if it'll be necessarily on this combo again, but maybe he'll find a better combo to suit him and his skill set to make the shortcuts faster. So as we come to the line, we're going to see the Rosalina gets a world record of 155.123. Thank you guys so much for watching this video all the way through. I really do appreciate it. And if you have any questions about the shortcuts, I did extensive testing on both of them, so I'd be happy to answer whatever comments and questions you guys have. But also, I want to address something. The upload schedule. It's going to be consistent from now on. And here's how I'm going to make this happen. On Mondays, we're going to have Mogi Monday. I know, a wild concept. That never happens. But the reason why it's going to happen on Monday now is because we're going to have Time Trial Tuesdays. We're going to be going over similar topics to the one we went over in this video. So, world records, I might even time trial myself. It's not going to be nearly as high quality as this video that you saw in the shortcut video a couple days ago, but they will be on topics related to the time trial community in general. And the final upload of every week will be something related to Mario Kart. It'll be probably a 10 to 15 minute video essay. So in that sense, those videos will be similar to this one. However, they will be on a variety of Mario Kart topics. And this video I will be working on extensively from Wednesday to Saturday, and the hope is that I get it out on Saturday night. And if I happen to get it out earlier, it's going to just be the day after I finish the video. So, yeah, that's the plan for the upload schedule. Streams will just be whenever I feel like it, basically. So, yeah. Anyways, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out, because this schedule probably won't actually end up happening because I'm just the worst at this sort of thing. But yeah, anyways, I'll hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.